So I'm Tove Levonen from the Shared City Foundation. We're based in Sweden. We are a foundation that work with strengthening vulnerable groups in different ways to make them be part of the urban development process. And the way that we do that is through the Her City Toolbox. And that's a joint initiative between Shared City Foundation, UN Habitat, so the United Nations Human Settlements Program. And we've developed the Her City Toolbox. It was 6 years ago almost that we started this. It's grown into an international success, really. We have projects all over the world, but I will take you through it from the beginning. This is just a little quote from the former ED, that Her City is our way to make solutions and tools available for everyone, from activists to decision makers and private sector. By working together, our future will be her future. So we use the Her City Toolbox to design a city together with girls to make it work for everyone. And we see that it's a way of delivering innovative urban solutions, high quality public spaces. We work with both social of public spaces, but also the climate impact and the environmental impact of cities through this method. So we started back in, it was really started in 2017 with a global mapping of different tools and the processes that work with girls in any form in terms of urban development, because we saw that something was missing, that people or projects were trying to reinvent the wheel, and we thought good things are being done all over the world. Let's see if we can focus and combine it in one toolbox. And we did with the toolbox. We had a pilot project in Botkyrka, a suburb of Stockholm, that I will show you more later, where we tested what happens if we plan a city for girls. Will it work for everyone? And it has shown that it does. So on one hand, Her City and the process supports girls in vulnerable areas. We focus on girls in socioeconomic vulnerable areas. We support them to improve their own neighborhoods and work together with decision makers and stakeholders. We bridge between these groups and the decision maker, because it's quite hard. It's hard to come in from just a regular girl in a regular suburb to be part of the designing how to design your neighborhood quite close. So that bridge is needed. To make that happen, we also need the decision makers to be on board. So Her City is also a way of helping decision makers to find these solutions and innovative solutions that the girls can bring, because the girls are really experts on their own environment and know what they need to make the city work. So the toolbox itself is innovative step-by-step guidance to improve cooperation between citizens and decision makers. Let's see okay. So this is the toolbox itself. It's a guide really for actors on how to implement these kind of multi-stakeholder projects, because we don't only work with girls, we work in multi-stakeholder teams where we want the girls to be the dominant group. And with the toolbox, you get a very detailed step-by-step method. So it follows the traditional development process. So we have an assessment phase and we have a design phase and implementation phase, where we focus a lot on engaging stakeholders to build this kind of multi-stakeholder team with all the professionals needed, different sectors in one group together with the girls. And that's a very good teaching experience for everyone involved, not only the girls that see different professions, but also the different professions that actually work with the end users that are usually just part of a small part of the project or just in the implementing phase or whenever. We want to engage them from the beginning and make sure that they are involved and understand the different challenges, and that we understand the different challenges from their point of view. So we get this community-led project by doing this. And then we do assessments, citywide assessment or site-specific assessment. Usually we focus on the site-specific assessment because we have to do the site assessments just to get a project going, but in some cases we do that as well. And that's a way of collecting data together with the stakeholder team, together with the girls, and getting gender disgraded data, really narrowing down on what's important to them. So we use the data available when it comes to air pollution and those kind of hard levels and measurable levels, but we also use tools to gather data together with the girls from their point of view. And this is where Inhabit Place is one of the very good tools that we use in Blocktree. Because as I said before, we did a global mapping to put together this toolbox. We haven't invented any tools. We collaborate with very good partners to put this together. You have all the tools from well-tested and super good partners and tool owners. And then in the design phase, we analyze the data that's been collected, and we do that together with the girls again, and we focus on analyzing challenges through a design thinking method called Method Kit, and also visualize those different solutions that they come up with as answers to the different challenges by using Minecraft and the block by block methodology. So it's a good way of bridging between architects that have a very professional view of the public space and the user's point of view. And having Minecraft has been very good, because if we just go directly into like architectural drawings and the really professional settings, it's harder to build some kind of wall between the girls that will just accept more and not try and move around. You can't really use CAD in that way. But having Minecraft, they can build by themselves, and it's very easy and quite fun as well. And then we formulate recommendations for actions, focusing on what needs to be prioritized, because when we work in the different groups, we get a lot of suggestions that would be fun to have, but when push comes to shove, it's not what the girls want to prioritize. So we have workshops specifically for that, and also look at what time estimate would be appropriate for that solution, and budget costs, and who owns what, who's capable, or who's the one that's supposed to implement whatever it is in whatever space it is we're working in. And then we formalize action plans, share results, and hopefully, depending on the project, start implementation. And we want the girls to be part of the implementation as well, and the follow-up process to as biggest extent as possible. So the process itself looks like this. This is how it looks on the actual website. So all blocks have a set of activities that have a set of steps, and it's a very flexible toolbox. You don't have to do block 1 to 9 to do a Her City project. It depends on where you are. As I said, we usually do block 3 and not always block 2, for instance, and we don't always do all the activities in block 4 or 5 or stuff like that. But it depends on what context you are in. So the digital tools itself are, as I said, different apps or programs such as Method Kit or Minecraft or Sketchfab or the Inhabit Place app. And we also have different checklists and calendars and forums and agendas and manuals. So it's a very comprehensive toolbox to make it as easy as possible to do this kind of inclusive process. We work from an intersectional point of view. So we have focused on girls and young women in socioeconomic vulnerable areas, but we have also used the toolbox to work together with children or refugees, and in some places, disabled people. And we always push for this intersectional focus in all the projects. And that's really where we can make a Her City project and not just an inclusive project or a participatory project, by targeting down on the group that you want to involve in space. And this is just how the platform looks. So I wanted to show a few cases that we've been working on. We have, since the toolbox itself is open source and free to use, we have projects all over the world. I think it was 1,350 users last time I checked. Have been involved in approximately 25 projects. So it's been going around, it's been all over the world. But what we see when we do the project is that the solutions are quite similar. When we work with this target group, we get very in-depth discussions about other groups. They usually take a very big social responsibility towards others as well. They focus on their grandmothers and kids, their siblings, and disabled people. So we get a lot of different solutions that are focused on comfort or benches, and we get a lot of playgrounds and stuff like that, because they want to create spaces where, in general, the girls want to create spaces where they can build community and where the community have a place to interact. So it's a lot of marketplaces and those kind of coming places to come together. In general, girls aren't a car-driven or motor-driven population either. They focus a lot on pathways and bikeways and stuff like that, and a lot of public transport. So that's been one thing that we realized when we did the project in Sweden that we needed to talk to the region and the region and authorities, because they are in charge of the public transport, and they weren't part of the project from the beginning, so they became a part of the project because a lot of the solutions focused on public transport. So we can see that these different solutions, they come and go, and they're quite the same all over the world. Even when we did the project that we did in India, for instance, focused on water and sanitation to a big extent, and that was focusing on having water and good toilets to use. But we had the same focus in Sweden, even though we don't have the same water or sanitation situation in Sweden, but it's always an issue. Yeah. So this is one of the projects that we did. It was in Beirut. It was before everything that's happening there now, and we will see how we can go back when everything has settled down. But in 2020 there was a big blast that you might remember, and we did a Her City, or the University Levonen office did a city project in the very renowned stairs, and they focused on children for this, as you can see, and it became a playground as well as the stairs to use the limited public space there is. And we also did a very cool project in Lima where we had 4 different sites, and the focus was really to secure pathways that move around Lima, secure them from landslides, but also prevent crime. That was a big thing. There was a lot of parking lots where different kind of crime was taking place, and they also focused a bit on urban farming to grow their own food. So the project itself wanted to increase the use among women and children and the elderly in these different parts of Lima, and it was a successful project as well. They also built playgrounds along the pathway, and this is the project that we did in Botkyrka, the suburb of Stockholm, the pilot project. And we did this in 2019. It was the first one out, of course. We focused on 4 different locations. So we worked at the mall and the square, and back of the mall at the subway station. It was organized together with the municipality and a civil society organization called Changes, and a university that is just close by. And it was funded by the Swedish Innovation Agency to see if this could work. And it was a very successful project. They built a park using the different Minecraft and drawings that we made for the project. So it was really cool to see how the project that we did for 6 months could have ripple effects. So this is where they redesigned the square, and they danced a little mat with a place to dance, and an amphitheater, and a library, and some game, a lot of different interactive signs and lighting and stuff like that. And this one was one of the pop-ups that the municipality did a few years later, where they had a dance group and a dance floor in the middle of the square, and they had made new Christmas lights. So it was the project that we did has influenced the way that the municipality worked together with different groups and how they do the participatory processes moving forward as well. And that's been really cool to see. And that was my last slide. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.